I'm Mark Drought. I'm a vet in Avondale Vets in Wicklow. We've 3 branches in Wicklow and we do a mixed practice, 50% small animal, 50% large animal. I'm nearly completely large animal myself. We have 11 vets in the practice altogether, and yeah, it's a really nice practice. You know, we have nice clients, nice scenery in Wicklow, and it's a really enjoyable place to work.
Well, my name's Kalinda Healy. We're here in Red Cross in County Wicklow. I'm farming with my husband Darren. We have a spring calving dairy farm.
So for me, it's kind of building up relationships with the farmers and with clients. So it's, you know, each time you go back to the same farmer, it's building up that trust and that relationship with them. So if you help them out in a problem, a herd health problem, or, you know, an individual issue with individual sick animals, you come back then the next time, maybe you're TB testing the next time, you say, how did that animal get on? Or how did you get on when you started giving that supplement or you started giving that vaccine? And you get good feedback. It's really great to get that, you know, that interaction. So for me, it's all about building up relationships and seeing the farms progress and seeing them benefit from your advice, I suppose, over years. You know, that's really good for me.
I like working outside most of the time when the weather's not too bad. I enjoy working with my husband and our family, and I enjoy I enjoy farming. I enjoy producing milk, looking after the animals and caring for the land.
I think the 3 most important things with calf rearing, number 1 is the environment. So we're paying really close attention to are they warm, there's no drafts, you know, that they're dry. Things that can be overlooked, especially as the calving season gets busier and busier and the calves get, you know, there's more calves in the shed. So that's the first thing, being really conscious of their environment and where they are and that they're able to, you know, be well insulated from drafts and things like that. The second thing is just hygiene with everything, hygiene with their bedding, that their bedding is topped up regularly, that I suppose before calving even starts, that the sheds are disinfected and cleaned out. And then hygiene as well with the feeders, you know, I'm paying really close attention to, you know, keeping the feeders really clean, having a really good protocol for disinfecting them. I suppose it is a key point, you know, it's where a lot of infection can come in, especially for scour, is through the feeders. And then the third thing then is I suppose, is nutrition, you know, so really, like, you start off with colostrum, making sure that's done right. Measuring the quality of the colostrum is something that's sometimes overlooked, you know, so making sure you're feeding good quality colostrum, and that kind of go back to the dry period as well, the nutrition for the cows, and also then just feeding enough milk and being conscious as well if weather is cold or things like that, you might need to feed extra milk, things like that. So yeah, I think they're the main things and I suppose just to say as well, it's easy to say these are the things to focus on, these are the things to try and get right, and in an ideal world all these things will go right all the time, but obviously there's all sorts of factors come in, you know, disease outbreaks can come in, you might be not able to get rid of calves as quick as normal, you might end up with bigger numbers, you mightn't have the exact perfect shed that you want, so this is where all these extra things come in, whether it's with microbes or with vaccines or whatever is needed just to counteract pressure that can come in.
It starts before the calf is born, making sure that your cow is well looked after. Then into the calving beds, making sure that they're calving onto clean, dry, warm facilities, that they're looked after from the point of calving, their navels are looked after, that they're fed good quality colostrum within the first 2 hours of life, up to about 4 litres. And then that they're moved into a nice warm shed, maybe with a nice warm calf jacket as well.
I was thinking about this, what can farmers do? One thing I think that a lot of farms are starting to do now, but maybe not enough farms are doing, is getting a refractometer to measure the quality of colostrum to feed the calves. It's, you know, when we think about calf health, the number 1 thing constantly is colostrum and colostrum quality and feeding enough of it. But unless you're measuring the actual quality of the colostrum with a refractometer, you know, you could be feeding poor quality colostrum and defeating the whole purpose. Like, you might feed 4 litres of that and it still mightn't be as good as feeding 3 litres of good quality colostrum. So a refractometer, 50 or 60 euro will get one. We can supply them and get them online. Very easy to use, just put a drop of colostrum on it. It should be done before any of that's fed to calves, you know. And especially for storing colostrum, really important that you're only storing the good quality stuff over 22%.
For me, I used to work in healthcare, so I wish I'd known that you just apply some of the human healthcare principles to calf rearing and to looking after calves.
I don't know if it's a piece of advice, but it's something a vet said to me one time and it's kind of stayed with me. It was when I was seeing practice in college in Tipperary with a vet, and we're just making conversation, and he was kind of saying, look, do you think this job is a tough job? Is it, how are you going to find it? And I said, oh, I'm sure it can be tough. I said, I'm sure it seems like there's long days and hard work and all. And he turned around and said to me, no, it's not a hard job at all. It's the easiest job in the world, And it was kind of just a mindset, that, yes, some days are going to be busy, some days are stressful, some days you feel like nothing's going your way. But if you stand back and look at it, it is a brilliant job. And as long as you have that mindset, it really is an easy job, and don't get bogged down in the small things, and always focus on, I suppose, developing, and that you always are making progress, So it's, that's the way to look at things, I think.
Best piece of advice I've ever got is to not work too much. Don't be always thinking about work. It can be difficult at times, especially, at certain times in the farming calendar, it can become all consuming, but that's not what life is all about. We also have a family, we have one another, and it's important to make time for hobbies, other friends, and getting away from the farm.
There's one programme I watch a good bit is called Yorkshire Vet. It's going on a long time now, actually. There's like 15 or 16 seasons of it now. But it just follows mixed practice in Yorkshire. It's kind of fairly similar to our practice, to do small animal, large animal, a lot of vets and nice clients. And it's actually setting the same practice James Herriot used to work in Yorkshire. But I see a lot of kind of similarities with our practice and the day-to-day, and it's good to see other vets, in another part of the world having similar kind of challenges and experiences. And it's realistic as well. You see everything, like you see all the details, that goes on. So yeah, I like that.
I love seeing healthy calves. There's nothing worse or depressing than looking at a sick calf and being stuck day in, day out, trying to get that calf better. So I suppose for me, it's making sure that from day one, our calves are looked after really well, because ultimately we want to see them in the milking parlour in 2 years' time.
So look, it's very simple, but I suppose it's about making the time to do it. And I try to just make time every day to just go for a walk. Whether it's 15 or 20 minutes during lunch, if there is such a thing, or at the end of the day, I just really make a big effort just to get out and clear the head, put away the phone, and just fresh air. And luckily in Wicklow, I could be driving around between calls, you could have a few minutes spare. Say, look, I'll pull in here, do a few minutes on this trail and come back again. So yeah, it's just something but it's all about making the effort to do it, I suppose. It's easy to just go through the days and get bogged down in what you're doing. But, if you make the time to do it, it really reaps rewards,
Well, I like meeting my friends, I like going to concerts. Darren and I both do exercise classes. Sometimes we get the opportunity to do those together. We like walking, going out for meals, maybe going to watch a show. I
think there's a huge role to play there. I think there's only so much that we can do to control calves' environments, and it's very hard to get things perfect. There's all sorts of pressures coming on calves, from, as I say, from weather, from housing, from the environment, and anything that we can do to help that is only going to be beneficial. And I know from our experience of using these and from farmers of ours using them, the feedback is really, really good. And I know certainly farmers wouldn't keep coming back getting these things unless they were effective, And I think it's all about just trying to control as much as we can control, and then where these can come in and really be a big help then, Yes, it's definitely, from our feedback, from our clients, they're really working really well. Look,
staying motivated can be challenging at times, but you just kind of have to get over it. Especially during spring, you get your head down, bum up, and just get through it. Summer's always on the way. We usually like to plan a holiday or a little break for ourselves, so we're always working towards that.
So I think a lot of things probably wouldn't be repeatable that I could think of, but one little incident I thought of there recently, I was asked to go out to castrate a few bulls for a farmer there. And he told me, oh, come out there and we'll be here to give you a hand and everything will be fine. I said, that's grand. How many is there to do? Oh, there's 9 or 10. So I land out, and there was only left his father there to help me. His father now was 80 years plus, an active man, willing to help me. But the son himself had gone off to do a bit of fencing or something. I thought this was a bit curious now that I was left there with him, with the father. So look, we got through the job fine in the end, everything was fine. And I was kind of laughing it off. I said, sure, Jesus, what was the big deal? Wasn't that big a job in the end? But went to the next farm then, and I was just making conversation with him, and I was saying, oh, the last fella, he left me high and dry there. He went off and he left me with his father to do all these bulls castrating. And sure, little did I know, the two farmers were best pals. They found out the next day, and I got a phone call the next day for a big apology, saying, "Oh, I didn't mean to do that at all." But it was all fine. I left it all off in the end. So
I suppose they think we're rolling money and that we get money for doing nothing. I suppose that's the thing I find a little bit challenging, that I think people don't really understand the amount of effort, time and hard work, planning, working with other people like our vets, our contractors, our feed providers, that goes into running a farm.
So I think it's really important to have a really good relationship, kind of built on trust. So, I'm regularly given advice, but it's really important to get the feedback as well. And, it's only by getting the feedback that we're able to adjust the plan each year going forward. So I know at Kalinda we have a herd health plan here on this farm, and every year, we go through it, we review how it went last year, and we see is there any changes that need to, come in for the year ahead. So it's really important, and it's really rewarding actually as a vet when you get good feedback and get honest feedback, so that well, I was working on this farm, maybe we look at doing something similar on another farm. So it's really good to get that two-way kind of communication.
So yeah, as Mark said, we have a herd health plan here, drawn up by Mark. Every year, he said, we review it, and I'm always keeping notes from the previous year to see what worked well, what didn't work well, or is there anything more that we can do? And Mark will give us more and more advice to build on what we've done the year before. Then I implement those plans. If we have problems, I will have taken temperatures. I will have run a few kind of checks on the cow or the calf, and I'll ring Mark and I'll be able to give him that information. And then either over the phone, he might be able to troubleshoot with me, or he'll call out and have a look at the animal.
That's it. It's just, you're never going to have a perfect year. You can have a plan as much as you want, but it's about getting, if things go wrong, it's about being able to step in and address them, there and then. And, that's what we like to try and do, and keep going with that going forward.
I suppose another interesting thing that we've done this year, we did it the last couple of years, is where we've taken bloods in the period before cows calve. So we did bloods last week. They've gone off to the lab. Mark will analyse them, and he'll come back to me with the results, and he'll tell us if the diet the cows are on is the optimum diet for them for the next couple of months before the calve. We'll take more bloods before the calve, then we'll take bloods in the 24 hours post-calving, just to make sure that their diet is right and optimal for them to prevent diseases like, I suppose, milk fever would be one that would have a knock-on effect on their health going forward.